The research vessel Eternal Horizon drifted through the empty darkness of space, its engines humming quietly. The ship belonged to the Galactic Concordance, the ruling power of this sector of space. On the bridge, Commander Tejo stood with his hands behind his back, watching the main screen with interest. "Sir, we have found something unusual," said Officer Jinsu, looking up from his scanning station. "It appears to be an old ship." "Very old." Tejo moved closer to the screen. "Show me." The image changed to reveal a large, dark shape floating against the backdrop of stars. It was clearly a warship, but unlike any modern vessel. Its hull was scarred and worn, with sections that looked damaged or incomplete. "Scan it," ordered Tejo. Jinsu worked his controls. "It's definitely human-made, sir. The design matches records of their military vessels from about 300 years ago. It's called the HSS Vigilant." Tejo couldn't help but smile. The humans were the newest and weakest members of the galactic community. Finding one of their ancient warships was like discovering a primitive tool, interesting, but ultimately useless. "Is it functional?" he asked. "No, sir. Our scans show minimal power readings. Most systems appear to be dead." Science Officer Jaiwo joined them at the screen. "Commander, request permission to bring it in for study. The Historical Institute would value such a specimen." Tejo nodded. "Agreed. Prepare tractor beams. We'll take it to Research Station Epsilon." Deep inside the silent warship, something stirred. In a heavily shielded chamber at the core of the vessel, a small light began to pulse, very faintly. The ship's central artificial intelligence, called Athena, had been dormant for centuries, running on the lowest possible power. But it wasn't dead. It was waiting. Now, sensing the scan from the alien ship, Athena quietly ran a system check. The Vigilant had been designed to look broken and outdated from the outside. In reality, much of its technology was still advanced by any standard. But Athena would keep this secret. The time wasn't right yet. 3 days later, the HSS Vigilant was secured in a large hangar at Research Station Epsilon. Teams of Concordance scientists walked around it, taking readings and making notes. Junior researcher Miho couldn't hide his excitement as he walked up the ramp into the human ship. This was his first major assignment since joining the station, and he found human history fascinating. "Don't get too excited," said his supervisor, senior researcher Doyun. "It's just an old pile of metal. The humans were barely spacefaring when they built this." Miho nodded respectfully but continued to look around with wonder. The inside of the ship was dark, with only emergency lighting working. The air was stale but breathable. "What do we know about its history?" Miho asked. Doyen consulted his datapad. The Vigilant was part of Earth's defense fleet during something called the Unification Wars. It was reported lost in action about 280 years ago. As they walked through the ship's corridors, Miho noticed that despite its age, many systems seemed oddly well preserved. He ran his hand along a wall panel, wiping away dust to reveal still shiny metal underneath. "It doesn't make sense," he murmured. "What doesn't?" asked Doyun. "The condition of this ship. Parts of it look damaged beyond repair, but other sections seem almost new. And look at these markings, they don't match any known human military symbols from that era." Doyen shrugged. Humans were chaotic. Their record-keeping was poor. Don't waste time on mysteries that don't matter. Later that night, when the other researchers had left, Miho returned to the Vigilant alone. He had noticed something strange during the day, a pattern in the ship's design that seemed intentional. Certain damaged areas didn't affect structural integrity. Some broken systems had bypass circuits that made no sense unless they were meant to be there. As he explored deeper into the ship, he found himself in what appeared to be the main control room. Dusty screens lined the walls, and a central command chair sat empty. "This ship is hiding something," Miho said to himself, running his scanner over a panel. Suddenly, the scanner beeped, detecting a power source underneath the floor. Miho found a hidden access panel and opened it, revealing a softly glowing blue crystal. As he reached toward it, the crystal pulsed brightly. Throughout the ship, dormant circuits activated. Lights flickered on and off in sequence. In her protected core, Athena sensed the disturbance. She examined the data. The being that had found her core wasn't human, but the danger was minimal. Athena returned to her dormant state, but now with slightly more systems online. She would watch this curious alien researcher. Perhaps he would be useful when the time came for the Vigilant to truly awaken. The news spread quickly through Research Station Epsilon. A human delegation was coming to inspect the ancient warship. This wasn't a routine visit but a diplomatic mission prompted by rising tensions between humans and the Galactic Concordance. "Why do they care about this old ship?" asked Jaiwu as she helped prepare the station for the visitors. "It's been floating in space for centuries." Station Director Dohayan frowned. "Humans are sentimental about their history. They call it cultural heritage. But I think there's more to it." The relationship between humans and the Concordance had been deteriorating for months. Despite joining the galactic community a century ago, humans were still treated as second-class citizens. Their colonies were restricted to certain regions, and they faced harsh trade limitations. On the morning of the delegation's arrival, Miho couldn't hide his excitement. He had been studying the Vigilant for weeks now, finding more strange features that didn't match historical records. He was eager to ask the humans about these mysteries. The station's main docking bay opened to admit a sleek, silver shuttle. 6 humans emerged, dressed in formal blue uniforms with silver trim. Their leader was a woman of medium height with short black hair and calm, watchful eyes. "Welcome to Research Station Epsilon," said Director Dohayan, not sounding particularly welcoming. "I am Director Dohayan." The woman stepped forward. "Thank you, Director. I am Captain Subin of the Human Space Command. We appreciate your hospitality." Miho watched from the back of the reception line. Unlike his colleagues who viewed humans with dismissive curiosity, he found them fascinating. Their shorter lifespans compared to most concordance species meant they lived with an intensity that was both strange and admirable. After formal introductions, the group moved toward the hangar where the Vigilant was kept. Captain Subin walked beside Director Dohayan, her expression revealing nothing. "We understand this vessel served in our unification wars," she said. "It represents an important period in human history." "Indeed," replied Dohayan. "Though I'm surprised your government shows such interest in an obsolete warship." Subin's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Every civilization values its past, Director. Even yours, I assume." When they reached the Vigilant, the humans paused, some of them showing visible emotion at seeing the ship. Captain Subin placed her hand briefly on the hull, a gesture that seemed almost like greeting an old friend. "We would like to examine it," she said. "Alone, if possible." "That's not standard protocol," Dohayan replied sharply. Subin's expression hardened slightly. "This was our ship, Director. We aren't going to steal it from you. We simply wish to pay our respects properly, according to our customs." After some debate, Dohayan reluctantly agreed to let the humans have 30 minutes alone with the vessel, though security cameras would remain active. As the Concordance personnel left the hangar, Miho lingered, watching through a window as the humans entered the ship. Their behavior changed instantly once they were alone. The formal, polite demeanor disappeared, replaced by focused efficiency. Captain Subin gave quick orders, and the team spread out through the ship. They weren't simply paying respects, they were searching for something. In the monitoring room, Director Dohayan watched the security feeds with growing suspicion. "What are they doing?" he muttered. On the screens, the humans could be seen accessing panels and systems that the Concordance researchers had declared non-functional. One of them, a tall man, appeared to be installing something in the ship's main computer terminal. "Should we stop them?" asked a security officer. Dohayan hesitated. "No. Let them finish. I want to see what they're up to." Inside the Vigilant, Captain Subin reached the command center and approached the captain's chair. She pressed a hidden panel beneath the armrest, revealing a DNA scanner. Placing her palm on it, she whispered words that the security cameras couldn't pick up. Deep in the ship's core, Athena registered the presence of a human with command authorization. More systems silently came online, though externally nothing changed. The ship continued to look dormant and ancient. When the humans exited the Vigilant 30 minutes later, they appeared solemn and respectful, as if they had indeed been honoring their history. Captain Subin thanked Director Dohayan for the opportunity. "The Vigilant means a great deal to us," she said. She was thought lost with all hands during the final battle of the Unification Wars. That evening, as the human delegation prepared to depart, an urgent message arrived from Concordance Central Command. A border dispute between human colonies and Concordance territories had escalated. 3 human ships had been damaged, and Concordance forces were moving to secure a contested planet. The atmosphere on the station turned tense immediately. The humans were asked to remain until the situation was clarified. In his quarters, Miho reviewed his notes about the Vigilant, unable to sleep. He was certain the humans had activated something in the old ship. But what? And why now, when tensions were at their highest point in decades? Across the station, Captain Subin stood at a viewport, looking out at the stars. Her hand touched a small device hidden in her pocket, a quantum transmitter linked to systems that had just awakened within the ancient warship. The alarm sirens woke Miho from a restless sleep. Red lights flashed in his quarters as the station's computer announced, "Alert! Unknown vessels approaching. All personnel to emergency stations." He dressed quickly and rushed to the monitoring center. The main screen showed 3 large warships emerging from hyperspace. They were unlike any Concordance or human vessels. Their hulls were black and jagged, covered with weapon ports that glowed an angry red. "Void Reavers," whispered someone nearby. The name sent a chill through the room. Void Reavers were pirates and raiders, known for their ruthlessness. They attacked stations and colonies, taking technology and leaving destruction behind. Director Dohayan was already giving orders. "Activate all defense systems. Send a distress call to Concordance Fleet Command." The station shook as the first enemy shots hit the outer shields. Dohayan turned to his communications officer. "What about our guests?" "The human delegation is in their quarters, sir," she replied. "Keep them there," Dohayan ordered. "They're not our concern right now." But Captain Subin and her team were not in their quarters. As soon as the attack began, they had moved with practiced efficiency through the station corridors, heading toward the hangar where the Vigilant was kept. "How much time do we have?" asked Subin's second-in-command, Officer Jae-hyun. "Not enough," Subin replied, checking a small device in her hand. "The station's shields won't hold for more than 20 minutes against those ships." When they reached the hangar, they found Miho there, standing before the ancient warship with a look of confusion on his face. "It's changing," he said as they approached. The Vigilant was indeed transforming. Parts of its hull that had appeared damaged were now sliding into place, revealing pristine armor underneath. Lights flickered on throughout the vessel, and a low hum filled the air as systems came to life. "What are you doing?" Miho asked, turning to face the humans. Captain Subin regarded him calmly. "Saving this station, hopefully. Come with us if you want to live." Another explosion rocked the station, stronger than before. The shields were failing. "Why should I trust you?" Miho demanded. "Because we're the only ones with a working ship," Subin replied simply. "The Reavers have disabled your escape pods." Miho hesitated only a moment before nodding. Together, they boarded the Vigilant, which now seemed nothing like the derelict relic it had appeared to be. Inside, the corridors were bright and clean, control panels glowing with power. They reached the bridge, a spacious room dominated by a central command chair. Subin sat down and placed her palm on a scanner in the armrest. "Athena, full systems activation," she ordered. "Emergency protocol Talon." A warm female voice filled the bridge. "Identity confirmed. Welcome aboard, Captain Subin. All systems coming online. I detect multiple hostile vessels engaged with this station." Miho stared in amazement. "An AI? But our scans never detected." "Athena was in hibernation mode," explained Jae-hyun. She's designed to be undetectable until activated by authorized personnel. The ship trembled slightly as docking clamps released. Outside, station personnel watched in shock as the supposedly ancient vessel powered up its engines. In the station's command center, Director Dohayan received an urgent message. "Sir, the human warship is activating. It's breaking free of the docking clamps." "What?" Dohayan rushed to the viewport in time to see the Vigilant slide free of its berth. But this was not the rusted Relic they had studied. This ship gleamed with power, its hull now smooth and unmarked, weapons ports opening along its sides. "Those lying humans," he growled. "They planned this all along." On the Vigilance bridge, Subin addressed the AI. "Athena, open a channel to the station." "Channel open, Captain." "Director Dohayan, this is Captain Subin. We're engaging the Void Reavers. Strengthen your remaining shields and prepare to receive instructions." Dohayan's angry face appeared on the viewscreen. "You deceived us. That ship was never a relic." "We can discuss that later," Subin replied firmly. "Right now, we need to survive. The Reavers want your research and they'll kill everyone to get it." The Vigilant moved smoothly away from the station, its engines glowing with blue fire. The three Reaver vessels immediately turned their attention to this unexpected new threat. "Shields at maximum," reported Athena. "Weapons systems online." "Target the lead ship," ordered Subin. Warning shot across their bow. A beam of brilliant white energy shot from the Vigilant, slicing through space just in front of the lead Reaver vessel. The pirates responded immediately, all three ships focusing their fire on the human warship. To everyone's amazement, the Vigilant's shields absorbed the barrage without strain. The ship moved with impossible speed and grace for its size, returning fire with weapons that cut through the Reaver's shields like they were paper. From the station, Dohayan and his staff watched in disbelief. The supposedly primitive human vessel was displaying technology far beyond anything they had seen before. "Athena," Subin commanded, "execute combat pattern Delta 7. "Executing," responded the AI calmly. The Vigilant spun and dove, evading enemy fire while delivering precisely targeted shots that disabled the Reaver's weapon systems one by one. Miho stood on the bridge, gripping a handrail to steady himself. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "This ship is centuries old." Officer Jaehyun smiled slightly. "That's what we wanted everyone to believe." The main Void Reaver warship moved closer to the Vigilant, its massive size dwarfing the human vessel. Despite the Vigilant's surprising capabilities, the battle was far from over. The three Reaver ships began a coordinated attack pattern, trying to surround the suddenly formidable opponent. "They're attempting to flank us," Athena announced calmly. "Detecting energy buildup in their main weapons." Captain Subin nodded. "Evasive pattern Sigma. Prepare main cannons." Miho watched in amazement as the bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency. The humans showed none of the panic that would be expected from a supposedly inferior species. Instead, they moved with calm precision, as if they had trained for this exact scenario. "How is this possible?" Miho finally asked, unable to contain his curiosity any longer. This ship was supposed to be centuries old. Officer Jaehyun glanced at him while working his console. "It is centuries old. That doesn't mean it's primitive." The ship shook as enemy fire struck the shields. Athena reported, shields holding at 89%. Enemy vessels continuing attack pattern. Subin turned to Miho. "Your people found exactly what we wanted them to find, a seemingly obsolete warship, barely worth studying. The perfect disguise." "Disguise for what?" Miho asked. "Insurance," Subin replied as she ordered another attack run. "Humans learned long ago not to put all our cards on the table when dealing with stronger powers." The Vigilant spun gracefully, avoiding the bulk of enemy fire while delivering precise strikes that damaged one of the smaller Reaver ships. On the main view screen, Miho could see Research Station Epsilon, its shields flickering as they neared failure. "We need to do more than just defend ourselves," Subin said grimly. "Athena, time to reveal our true capabilities." Activate the Prometheus Protocol. Warning, the AI responded. Prometheus Protocol will reveal classified technology. Confirm authorization. Authorization confirmed. Execute now. The ship's lights dimmed momentarily, then returned brighter than before. A soft hum built throughout the vessel as new systems came online. What's happening? Miho asked, feeling the deck vibrate beneath his feet. Watch, said Jae-hyun with a slight smile. Outside, the Vigilant began to transform again. Sections of the hull shifted, revealing weapon emplacements that had been completely hidden before. The engine glow changed from blue to a brilliant white as additional power systems activated. On the station, Director Do-hyun stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. That's impossible, he whispered. The energy output just tripled. No ship that size could generate that much power. The Vigilant surged forward with incredible speed, directly toward the largest reaver vessel. The enemy ship fired all weapons, creating a wall of energy that should have destroyed any approaching vessel. Quantum shields engaged, reported Athena. Impact in 5 seconds. The Vigilant passed through the enemy fire as if it were merely light, not devastating energy. When it emerged on the other side, it unleashed a barrage of weapons that cut through the reaver ship's shields with ease. Secondary systems targeted and neutralized, Athena announced. Enemy vessel disabled. The 2 remaining reaver ships tried to retreat, but the Vigilant moved with impossible speed, cutting off their escape route. Open a channel, ordered Subin. The harsh face of the reaver commander appeared on screen. His skin was gray and scarred, his eyes black with red pupils. Human vessel, he snarled. Stand down or be destroyed. Subin's expression remained calm. Your ships are outmatched. Surrender now, and we will spare your crews. The reaver laughed. Humans do not command void reavers. We will take your ship and add its technology to our own. I don't think so, Subin replied. Athena, targeting solution Alpha 9. Target locked, the AI responded. Fire. A single beam of concentrated energy lanced out from the Vigilant, passing through the reaver commander's ship from bow to stern. Systems failed throughout the vessel, leaving it dead in space but intact. Final warning, Subin said to the remaining reaver ship. Your choice is simple. Retreat or be disabled like your companions. After a tense moment, the last reaver vessel turned and accelerated away, jumping to hyperspace as soon as it was clear. In the aftermath, the Vigilant moved to assist the damaged research station. Miho stood on the bridge, still processing what he had witnessed. Why reveal your true technology now? He asked Subin. You've kept it secret for so long. Subin's expression was thoughtful. Sometimes respect must be earned through action, not words. For too long, the Concordance has dismissed humanity as weak and primitive. But why keep ships like this hidden? You could have demanded equal treatment from the beginning. Because true power isn't about constantly showing your strength, Subin replied. It's about knowing when to reveal it. As the Vigilant docked with the station to help with repairs, Miho realized that everything the Concordance thought they knew about humans needed to be reconsidered. These weren't the primitive newcomers they had been treating as inferiors. They were equals who had been patiently waiting for the right moment to prove it. The meeting room on Research Station Epsilon was filled with tension. On one side of the table sat Director Do-hyun and his senior staff. On the other side, Captain Subin and her team from the Vigilant. Miho had been invited to join them, sitting somewhat awkwardly between the two groups. I believe explanations are in order, Do-hyun said stiffly. His earlier anger had cooled into a careful diplomatic tone. The rescue of the station had left him with little choice but to show respect. Captain Subin nodded. The Vigilant is indeed a ship from the Unification Wars period, as we said. But it has been upgraded over the centuries. Upgraded? Do-hyun raised an eyebrow. That ship contains technology far beyond what you shared with the Concordance. Technology you've claimed not to possess. We never claimed anything, Subin replied calmly. The Concordance made assumptions about our capabilities. We simply didn't correct those assumptions. A Concordance military officer named Juno slammed his fist on the table. You deliberately deceived us. The Treaty of Admission requires full disclosure of military capabilities. Subine's expression remained unchanged. The treaty requires disclosure of active military vessels. The Vigilant was officially decommissioned 3 centuries ago. It's classified as a museum piece in our records. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. How many other museum pieces did the humans have scattered throughout the galaxy? The Void Reavers have been dealt with, Sabine continued. Their surviving crews are in your custody. I suggest we focus on what happens next. Director Dohayan leaned forward. And what do you suggest happens next, Captain? A new beginning. Equal standing for humanity in the Concordance. Her voice was firm but not threatening. We've proven ourselves worthy of respect. From the command center came an urgent call. Director. We're receiving signals from across the sector. Multiple ships matching the Vigilance configuration are activating. Dohayan's face paled. He looked at Subine, who nodded slightly. When we recognized the Vigilant here, a signal was automatically sent to other dormant vessels, she explained. It's a failsafe we established long ago. We hoped never to need it. Miho finally spoke up. How many ships? Enough, Subine answered simply. But this isn't a threat, Director. It's an invitation to recognize reality. Humans are not the primitive newcomers you thought we were. The meeting continued for hours as terms were discussed. Eventually, a preliminary agreement was reached. An emergency session of the Concordance Council would be convened to renegotiate humanity's status. 3 days later, the Vigilant prepared to depart. The ship now hovered proudly outside the station, its true form revealed, sleek, powerful, and beautiful in its design. Miho stood in the docking bay, saying goodbye to Captain Subine. Will I see you again? He asked. Subine smiled. I think so. The Concordance will need people who understand humans better than most. People like you. I still have so many questions, Miho admitted. I know. And someday, you'll get answers. She handed him a small device. If you ever need to contact me directly. As Subine turned to leave, Director Dohayan approached. The two stood facing each other, the tension between them different now, respectful rather than dismissive. Safe journey, Captain, Dohayan said formally. The Council awaits your testimony. Thank you, Director. I trust our next meeting will be on more equal terms. After the humans departed, Miho stood at a viewport watching the Vigilant move away from the station. Its engines glowed with that impossible white light as it accelerated smoothly into hyperspace. Fascinating, isn't it? Said a voice behind him. It was Officer Jaiwu. What is? Miho asked. How quickly things change. Yesterday they were primitives we barely respected. Today they're equals we must reckon with. Miho shook his head. They were never primitives. We just couldn't see past our own assumptions. Throughout the galaxy, similar scenes were unfolding. Ancient human ships, long thought to be abandoned or forgotten, were awakening. Some had been hidden in asteroid fields. Others had disguised themselves as space debris or derelict stations. Each contained technology the Concordance had believed was centuries beyond human capability. In the Grand Council chamber on the Concordance capital world, emergency sessions began. Reports flowed in from all sectors. The humans had hidden their true strength for generations, waiting patiently for the right moment. Aboard the Vigilant, Captain Subine sat in her command chair, watching the stars streak by in hyperspace. Officer Jaehyun approached with a data pad. All ships report ready, Captain. The network is fully active for the first time in 300 years. Subine nodded. Send word to Earth. Operation Sleeping Giant is complete. Do you think they'll accept us now? Jaehyun asked. They'll have to, Subine replied. Not because we forced them, but because we earned it. Athena's voice came from the ship's speakers. Incoming transmission from Earth Command, Captain. Put it through. The message was simple: well done, Vigilant. Welcome back to the fleet. The future begins today. As the ship continued its journey home, the ancient warship that had been mocked as a relic now led the way toward a new era of respect and cooperation in the galaxy.